Hi, welcome to this lesson on Probability Counting Principles Part 2. Let's have a look at question 5. We're given 4 different Samsung phones, 3 different iPhones, and 3 different LG phones on a table. What is the probability that the phones are all arranged such that each brand of phone must be next to each other? So essentially the scenario we're looking for is that the 4 Samsung phones, which I'll call S1, S2, S3, S4. The 3 iPhones I'll call I1, I2, and I3. And the 3 LG phones I'll call L1, L2, and L3. We want those phones to be sitting next to each other. Okay, so the 4 Samsung phones must be all next to each other, the 3 iPhones must all be next to each other, and the 3 LG phones can be all next to each other. So within these 4 Samsung phones, there are 4 factorial ways we can assign them by the fundamental counting principle. For the 3 iPhones, there are 3 factorial ways, and for the 3 LGs, there are 3 factorial ways. And then in total, these 3 groups can also be arranged 3 factorial ways. So by the fundamental counting principle, we are looking at the probability. So I'm going to call this event star. So star is the event that all the phones of the same brand are next to each other. That's the number of ways all the brands can be next to each other divided by the total number of ways. Okay, so the number of ways that they can be arranged in that star fashion is 4 factorial times 3 factorial times 3 factorial times this 3 factorial grouping here, all divided by, well, in total there are 4 plus 3 plus 3, which is 10 phones. So there are 10 factorial ways we can arrange them in any given order. So let's go ahead and do this calculation and see what we get. So we have 4 factorial times 3 factorial times another 3 factorial times 3 factorial, and then divide that by 10 factorial. So we get 1 in 700, which is approximately 0.001. 0.001. So that's how you read that on the calculator. When you have, so this is a scientific notation, so that 10 to the negative 3 means that at the third decimal, after the third decimal place, you reach the first number 1. So it'll be 0.001. Or you can also write it as 1 over 700 in fraction form, and that is perfectly acceptable as well. Unless you're told specifically to round off to a certain number of places, you can leave it in its fraction form. Okay, so that's how we would do this type of question. I'll see you in the next one.